when you have the right clothes and you got good footwear, you want to go out into nature and start a fire. Starting a fire is great fun. They say that the fire is like the TV for the outdoorsman, and that is quite right, because if you're out in the wild, you will often find yourself at night in the evenings staring into the fire, just looking at the flames as they reach towards the sky. And yeah, it's a good time to tell stories if you got company. If you don't have company, it's a great time to just think about all the things that went wrong in your life. Or, all the things that went right in your life and that you were so happy about. So, to start a fire, what you usually think about is getting some firewood, and you can usually collect firewood in the forest and just pile it up and start burning it. But if you go to a place like Kebnekaise, for example, thousands of people go there every year, and there's not going to be a lot of firewood lying around. Maybe they bring some in from the outside to some places, but no. Most of the time you have to do without firewood. You could carry firewood in your backpack, but it's going to be very heavy and bulky, and yeah, you don't want that either. So I'm gonna show you 4 different types of fuel that you could bring along when you're out hiking. The first type of fuel that you would typically bring along is ethanol. This is the same thing that you have in whiskey or rum or anything else that you drink, except that in whiskey you're gonna typically have 40%, and this one is 99% or something like that. The difference as well is that this is very cheap. 1 liter of this is like 70 crowns, whereas a liter of whiskey is going to be 500 crowns. And the government, they don't want you drinking cheap alcohol, because drinking alcohol brings problems for you and for society. So this cheap alcohol, they do a process called denaturing. So they denature the alcohol, and that means that if you drink this, you're gonna start vomiting like crazy, because they have some toxin in it. It's harmless, except for the fact that you start vomiting a lot. And to notify you that this is not safe to drink, they color it red. So this is the T-röd, is the marketing name of this, T-röd. It's just alcohol that you can burn. And typically you would put this in a stove where you have like a metal container, you pour in some alcohol and you light it up, and it will burn for a while, and you can cook some water. Or cook some food of some kind. An alternative to this is the Tenol. I just saw this on the shelf and I was like, wow, this is a fuel specifically for camping stoves. That's great, I'm gonna buy that. And I didn't really look at it. But when I started looking at it, you see the ingredients of this fuel? It's methanol. Now, ethanol, ETH, ethanol, is perfectly safe to drink. You'll get drunk. In this case, you will start vomit because it's been denatured. But if they hadn't denatured it, it would be perfectly safe to drink. Methanol, with an M in the beginning, M-E-T-H, methanol. If you get very, very, very tiny amounts of methanol in your body, you will go blind for the rest of your life. if you somehow drink a lot, you will end up dead. So this, perfectly safe, but could be too much fun for some people. And yeah, so they color it red and make you vomit. This one can kill you, or at least turn you blind, but it's got this clear color that you would expect alcohol or water to have. Looks perfectly safe to drink, and yeah, there's something like a warning sign here, but it's not really, doesn't really show that much how bad it is for you. I don't understand the reasoning behind this, but the point of this fuel is that it's a bit more energy dense. So if you want to boil, every time you eat, maybe you want to boil 1 liter of water, you want to eat 10 times. With this fuel, maybe you have to bring that much to boil 10 liters of water. And with this fuel, you only have to bring that much. So you can bring less fuel, which means less weight to carry with this one. But on the other hand, it can kill you if you get it in your body, if you accidentally drink it. I'm not sure why you would accidentally drink it, but still, if you have kids or animals around, or I don't know, if you're stupid or clumsy, I don't know, it's just not worth it to take any risks like that, I don't think. Why would you want to use this? I don't see the purpose. So I bought this by accident, and now that I bought it, I can just show it. I'm gonna put it back in storage. I'm never gonna use it myself, but at least I could show it to you. This one is perfectly safe. I will bring it anywhere to cook food, but I'm not. Typically, I wouldn't want to carry a whole bottle of this, so I would have a smaller bottle and just carry the fuel that I think I need, or a bit of extra, a bit more than I think I need, but yeah. The next alternative are these Esbit. Can we get that in focus? No, it's not in focus. Hello, camera. I'm trying to show something, whatever. Esbit solid fuel tablets. It's made by a German company. They look like this. So this is a pack of 3 tablets, and one of these tablets will bring 1 liter of water to a boil. So it's very energy dense. It will burn for, I don't know how long, probably says here somewhere. It will burn for 7 minutes. 1 tablet will burn for 7 minutes. And it's very lightweight. So if you want to say weight, this is definitely the way to go. Because, I mean, this is just much more heavy than this is. The bad thing about this is that, kind of like the methanol, this is toxic. In fact, it says in the instructions that you should be wearing gloves when you handle it, because it's so strong that it will be corrosive on your skin. So you could end up with some rash or some bad things in your fingers if you touch the tablets when you get them out of the packaging. And of course, you really don't want to get this in your food, because it will be bad on the inside as well if it's bad on your fingers. But I mean, there's not much risk of you getting this in your food. It smells really bad, even in the plastic. It's now in a plastic container with aluminum foil on the other side. And even now, I can smell it through the packaging. A very strong and unpleasant smell. So there are a few downsides to using these Esbit tablets, but they're very lightweight and they work great. So yeah, it's a good alternative anyway. Finally, the last thing for fuel that we have in our backpack is something like this Nivea cream. This one is for men. I'm not sure why women can't use this. I guess it's got something to do with hormones. But this is Nivea cream for face, body and hands. And we want to bring this cream with us because, I mean, this is kind of like Vaseline. It's actually, I haven't opened this one yet. So it's still got a foil on it. But this is like a white cream. It's kind of like Vaseline. Vaseline works just as well as this one. This one is just a brand name. The main reason we want to bring this type of cream is because when water leaves our skin, evaporates, we lose heat. So when we put cream on our skin, in our face, hands, feet, or anywhere else, it will help keep the water in our bodies and it will help us stay warm. We won't get cold as fast. We also want to put this on our feet before we go to bed at night, or because when our feet have soaked in this fat, the skin becomes more elastic, I guess, and it helps to prevent blisters. So we don't want blisters on our feet, so we could use this on our feet. But this burns excellent, because if we look at the ingredients, the main ingredients, it was water, and water doesn't burn that well. But water will evaporate fairly quickly, and what's left is glycerin, which burns really well, paraffin, some Latin name for paraffin. Paraffin is in candles, you know, paraffin candles.
Like these ones?
Whatever. It's in candles. Third ingredient, alcohol. Alcohol, just like this one, burns, excellent. Fourth ingredient, more alcohol, glyceryl stearate, so stearic and stearic acid, stearyl alcohol, so stearin is also in candles. So this is basically a liquid candle with some water in it. You just need to light it up, the water will evaporate and it will burn very well. To help light it up so that it starts burning, we have cotton balls. Cotton balls are excellent. Women use these to remove makeup or something, I guess. But what we do is we take a cotton ball, we get some Vaseline on it, and we have a candle that will burn for 5 minutes approximately. So if you compare it to a candle, the cotton is kind of like the wick, the thing that burns, and the Vaseline is like the stearin or paraffin of the candle that provides the fuel and lets it burn for a long time. So just by putting some Vaseline on the cotton ball, you can make it burn for 5 minutes or so. Of course, you could also just douse the cotton ball in some ethanol and get it burning. And this is what we use to start fires with firewood, if we find some firewood. If it's very dry, we can probably just put some firewood together and light it up and it will burn. We could use a cotton ball just to help get it started. If it's been raining recently, so it's a bit wet, usually the case in Sweden, we can just use some ethanol, some alcohol on the cotton ball and it will get started easily. If it's been raining a lot and it's very wet, you use the Vaseline, because when it burns for 5 minutes, just the fire around the cotton ball will dry up the wood around it, make the water evaporate from the heat of the burning cotton ball, so that the wood can start burning, and then when the wood starts burning, that will continue to evaporate any water, and we can have a good fire going. Now the cotton balls are a bit bulky, so what I do is, this one is actually expanded a bit, but hello. I use Ziploc bags, and for some reason this one just won't open. There we go. Did we? Once you get the bag open, what I usually do is I just sit on it. Now I'm not sitting on it because I'm already sitting down like this, but if you just sit on it and close it up, it's going to be kind of like a vacuum packed bag, so it's going to be a lot thinner. Because it's mostly air, but it doesn't really matter if it's a bit bigger anyway, but I mean, yeah. It doesn't weigh anything, it's a very good fuel, so this one you should carry with you. And this one you carry with you for other reasons, but together with the cotton balls, it's excellent. So finally, to start the fire, to light the fire up, we got a fire kit, and I put these fire kits together to be able to always have an option to light the fire. So first of all, in here I got some of these Esbit dry fuel that I packaged in some plastic. So with this plastic wrapped around it, it doesn't smell anything because it's better. And on top of that, I have it in this box that closes, so the smell of these solid fuel tablets will never get out into my pack. Matches is always good to have. I also have a lighter in here that will just easily light any fire. The inside, I mean, the lighter works with this butane gas that you can release by pressing the button, and then inside here is a stick with a piece of metal that when you rub the metal against the stick, it makes sparks. So what we have here is a spark stick, a big spark stick with a piece of metal that we can also use to light fires, like that. So if we have a piece of cotton, we put it down, or anything dry really, we just make enough sparks and it will start burning eventually. So we have a few different options of starting a fire that we're going to carry with us. The solid fuel tablets, of course, will work the same as the cotton balls and Vaseline if there's wet weather and we want to get a fire started, since they burn for 7 minutes. Now I got 2 of these kits, one for me and one for her, because at one point I was up on Kebnekaise and I forgot my lighter at home. I didn't have anything to light my fire. I got all the way up there and I was like, right, I can't cook food, I can't stay warm, I can't do anything. Well, I could stay warm because I had good clothes, but I couldn't cook food. So I had to go to the neighboring tent and beg for them to give me some matches, and actually they also didn't have that many, so they just gave me 4 matches and a matchbox. But yeah, if you're in Kebnekaise or some area with lots of people, it's gonna be fine, because there's always gonna be someone who is kind enough to help you out. But if you go to Sarek or somewhere in real wilderness where you don't have people around, then if you don't have fire, you could be in a bad situation, because fire can save your life if you get cold. So just in case one of us forgets their kit, or just in case a kit drops out of the bag, even though it's red and easy to see, maybe it could be forgotten someplace. You're gonna have two kits like this, because there's not always gonna be a backup. So now typically we wouldn't make up a fire with firewood. We would actually have a kitchen stove and burn fuel in a stove to cook, to boil water or cook food. So, but I'm gonna show the stoves in the next video.